Darn it, darn it, darn it. I really did not mean to press live. Wrong button. Wrong button. Darn it. This is not what I wanted to do. So anyway, you don't mind looking up at the ceiling, right? I really don't want to be on camera right now. I mean, I really don't want to be on camera right now. I just woke up. So anyway, I was outside going about my business, and I don't want to be on camera. So I was outside going about my business, and as I'm standing there, I had a choice to make. Either what I was seeing was a figment of my imagination and I could brush it off, or I could take notice and start in spiritual warfare and do something about it. So I took notice. And it was kind of one of those things like, are my eyes deceiving me? But my gut's telling me, Holly, no, these are your spiritual gifts. Do not start denying now, babe. These are your spiritual gifts. It's not a figment of your imagination. Start engaging in spiritual warfare. So I talked to Abba from my heart. Now I'm thinking that somebody said something at me. And this thing was terrible. It was scary looking. How can I be? Okay, so say you're me, okay? And say we're this tall, like say, you're standing outside and your head comes about this height, right? Okay, and then there's the rest of the house, right? So I'm trying to set up the scenario. So I'm outside, my head comes to about here, and then there's the rest of the house, and you see the side of the house. Well, I'm standing there going about my business, and again, all of a sudden, what do I see? This thing peeking around the house like this at me. And then as soon as I see it out of the side of my eye, it disappears. So I'm just going to tell it the way that it is. And I don't have programmers. I don't have handlers. Nobody's in my life. And anytime somebody tries to come in my life, I bat them down. No. Baal, Baal, I bind and cast him and his legions down in Yahushua HaMashiach Shem Selah. That thing is always trying to put a dude in my life to throw me off track and to control me somehow. Now that's coming from the kingdom of darkness. That's coming from powers and principalities that don't like me and want to stop me from speaking the truth about child trafficking, satanic ritual abuse, and high forms of our government and above our government. So Lucy doesn't like me, and neither do his cohorts and friends. So just right there, I get attacked. Powers and principalities have legions with them. And the only way you're getting rid of principalities is with fasting. If you don't fast, they ain't going anywhere. Oh, but Holly, I ran up to Lucifer and I said, get out of here in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. He didn't go anywhere. Oh, yes, he did, Holly. I saw him leave. Oh, he's playing you like a fiddle. He's over in some other area of your life, ripping that area out. I did not remember to put up subtitles. I try to pronounce my words a little bit better. What was I saying? Because I have a lot to say about spiritual warfare. I'm going through it right now. Somebody sent something creepy at me. Now that thing pinking around the side of the house, it had like matted, disgusting hair. It looked like some sort of humanoid creature, for lack of better terms, a scraggly, tall, thin Bigfoot. So there's somebody out there dabbling with magic. Heavenly Abba, please show me who's doing it. Please reveal it to me. I don't have any handlers. That's what I was saying. I don't have handlers. I don't have programmers. And as far as the people in the past, I already gave you Joseph Mangley's name. You want another name? Okay. Douglas Riggs. I remember Riggs from the Dumbs. Even Riggs said that satanic clones are made of him. Riggs was the dude that would read John 1, John 2, and John 3 to me and beat and rape me to it in deep underground military bases. That was Douglas Riggs. Yeah, he relied on memory retrieval techniques. Do you know who else does? Do I dare say Springmeyer's name? Now, there's a lot of people out there doing work. That's good. But who are they really relying on? I know a thing or two. I've not only been to this rodeo, but I've thrown a few. I'm not throwing any more rodeos, and I'm not going to any more either. But what was I saying? Yes, I was used as a super soldier for 37 years of my life. I woke up when I was 39. By the time I was 40, I was fully awoke, and I married Yahushua HaMashiach December 12, 2014. At Jonathan Kahn's ministry. I met him December 5th of 2014, and he invited me back. I came back on the 14th for the Festival of Lights. He did his bridegroom feast sermon, which is a false teaching. But nonetheless, I took his false teaching. Yes, Yahushua is the groom, but the New Jerusalem is the bride. And the church is not the bride. The church is fallen. Read the beginning of Revelation, the 7 letters that go out to the churches. The reason for those 7 letters is, number one, if you and I or they or them are doing anything wrong, anything that those 7 letters to those 7 churches says, well, if we're doing something those letters mention, number one, we know the punishment and penalty for what we're doing wrong. And number 2, he also tells me notifications. Okay. Number 2, he also tells me, and I'm sorry for that, those 7 letters. So they tell us what our punishment will be if we're doing something wrong that those letters mention. But if we renounce our ways and we stop doing those things, those 7 letters also tell us what our rewards in heaven will be. And it took me a long time to figure this one out. But you know what? It's more important to earn up treasures in heaven than it is to earn up a paycheck here on earth. King of the ages, who will not fear you and bring glory to your name, for you alone are holy. All nations will come and worship before you, for your righteous acts have been revealed. Revelation 15. Probably verses 3 and 4. That's probably verse 4, though. So, now, where was I? Now, a regular demon, you can get rid of a regular demon by saying, I bind and cast your way, but typically you're going to have to renounce the false doctrine. You're going to have to renounce the false teaching. You're going to have to renounce the denomination. You're going to have to renounce the churchanity. You're going to have to renounce your religious programming. And then you're going to have to walk in Yahushua's ways. When you know your Savior and Maker, it's not a religion. When you know him, it's a relationship. It's a lifestyle. Because you want to do the same things that he did when he walked the face of the earth. It's not just a belief. It's a knowing and a lifestyle. Because once you know him and you've met him, you want your lifestyle to be like his. You want to know what it was like to be in his shoes. Prepare the last meal you're ever going to eat. Sit down and eat it. That's one of his feasts and festivals, the Feast of Unleavened Bread and First Fruits. It's an 8-day festival. That includes a Passover meal. I'll tell you, the first time I ever stopped to take the time to make that Passover meal with him, and there's 4 glasses of wine. I didn't have them. I opted out, but 1 year I am. I have not yet. I like my wine. I'm going to pour me a Holly glass. A Holly glass is much bigger than Johnny Depp's mugs, okay? My Holly glasses will put Johnny Depp mega sizes to shame. It's not a competition. It's just facts. Anyway, those 4 glasses of wine, they have very huge, significant meaning. The 4 glasses. Now, Yahusha's saying this to you. Now, throughout the preparation of the meal, sitting down to eat it, and then after the meal, there's 4 different periods during that meal. You drink glasses of wine, a glass of wine. The first glass of wine, Yahuwah is telling you, I will lead you. The second glass of wine is, he says, I will free you. The third glass of wine is, I will barak you. Barak means bless in Hebrew. The 4th glass, which he never drank before his crucifixion, the 4th glass means he's saying, I will protect you. Now, there's a lot of different theories and religious opinions on the 4th glass. People say he's up in heaven drinking it now. Bull crap. The truth about the 4th glass is when he returns and takes that step off a cloud, resurrects the people that got their heads chopped off for not taking the mark of the beast, gathers, which is not a rapture, but gathers the 144,000. He sets up his kingdom, reigning for 1,000 years, which Hitler was trying to do, but the Third Reich failed. However, we are the Fourth Reich rising, if you're paying attention. All right, we're going through it now. What was I saying? He's going to set up his reign for 1,000 years. And then he's going to drink that 4th glass of wine with us, because then he will physically be with us. And then he will physically himself protect us. And that's when the truth about that 4th glass of wine, when and where he will drink it. He will drink it when he gets back to earth. He has not returned yet. We have not missed him. So spiritual warfare. When somebody sends some grisly entity at you, like what happened to me this morning, typically I'm like, Abba, my heavenly Abba Yahuwah, my golden bow. Where's my golden bow? Number 1, where's my golden bow? Number 2, I repent for my sins, known and unknown. Abba, please reveal to me what's unknown, because I want to be right with you. I remember getting mocked in December 2014 by police up in Newfoundland, New Jersey. Oh, she's getting right with God. They showed up my house one night asking for my knife named Aaron. They didn't want Moses, but they wanted Aaron. Very interesting. And they specifically asked for Aaron, but I gave them Moses anyway. And I got mocked. There were 2 police officers I could see, and I should have had enough brass breasts to be like, you guys are a bunch of pussies. 3 cop cars to 1 person. I must have really been a good super soldier, huh? Anyway, stone cold sober too. Cannabis is medicine for me. Anyway, there were 3 cops that were standing behind a flashlight, and I could not see their faces, and I did not know who they were. And one of those cops goes in a funny jokester voice, oh, she's getting right with God. Ha, 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 ha. And he laughed at me in this jokester voice, and I'll never forget it. And you know what I did? I could have jumped to my feet and squared off with him, and I would have had every right to, because he was mocking me. He was antagonizing me. But you know what I did? I let Abba take over, and I just dropped my head and looked down at the ground, and I let the guy take his shot, and I let him land his shot. And I hope he feels really good that he landed his shot. But now I'm standing. I'm not sitting anymore. So yeah, I got right with Abba. So that's really important. You want to seek his forgiveness, get washed and covered in the blood of the Lamb. And to be under the blood of the Lamb, your lifestyle has to be like his. Okay. And not like these nowadays Christians. You have to uphold these 10 commandments. If you're not married, then you better not be having sex or masturbating, because then you're committing adultery on him. You're his property until you get married. The Sabbath is hugely important. Listen, love thy God and love thy neighbor. This is where everybody screws up. The first 4 commandments tell us how to love Abba. The last 6 commandments tell us how to love our neighbor. Abba spelled it out for us. He wrote it all down. Short, sweet, simple. Well, short, sweet, and unsexy. I used to have this little necklace that said short, sweet, and sexy. At the age of 16, it was way too young to have that necklace. And now that I'm 50, I want that necklace back, but I want to attach the UN to sexy, so it can be, it could be sweet, smart, and short. Short, sweet, and smart instead of short, sweet, and unsexy. So I could do short, sweet, and smart. All right. Short, sweet, and smart. First 4 commandments tell us how to love Heavenly Abba. And the last 6 commandments tell us how to love our neighbor. So when you hear Yahushua go, yeah, love your neighbor, love your Abba, it's because he's trying to tell you to do that. All 10 commandments tell you how. The Sabbath, Saturday is huge, very huge. You don't know until you try to walk in his shoes. Instead of just reading the Bible, live it. Put it into practice. That's where people do not find the narrow path, is because they don't put the good book into practice. I'm the firstborn, so that story about the Tavs in the good book, that touched me. All right, so spiritual warfare. So you want to get washed and covered under the blood of the Lamb. You want to be living right. I mean, if you're out there you got a boyfriend or girlfriend, you're not married and you're having sex, you're going to do okay with spiritual warfare, I guess, but you're never going to be on top of it. You're watching porn, smoking out of a crack pipe, or doing any other kind of drug just to get off. All right, you're not living right. You're not going to be on top of your spiritual warfare. I'm just going to give it to you straight. I should put this up on internet radio. I should make a video for Facebook. I get nervous when I make Facebook videos. You guys could come join me and keep me at ease. You could be like, Holly, just imagine YouTube. Just imagine you're on YouTube. You walk around in your pajamas on YouTube, Holly. Why are you nervous to be on Facebook? Can you see? Yeah. Where was I? So spiritual warfare. You want to be on top of your spiritual warfare. You do not want to come into any kind of agreement or pray with people that are not in line with Yahuwah themselves. That is a huge thing that it took me many years to learn. So say you go to church and everybody's like, oh, let's pray together. Let's hold hands. Don't do it. Be like, no, I'm allergic to skin. I can't hold hands. I'm sorry. Just tell them you're allergic to skin. You can't hold hands. No, I'm serious. Number 1, which is hold hands, stand in circles. There's a time and place for touching, and during prayer is not one. You do not have to sit down at every dinner and hold hands to pray. That's absurd. You do not touch people. When someone's demonically possessed, you keep your hands off. When somebody's demonically oppressed, it's a novel idea to continue to keep your hands off that person. Russ Dizdar was my mentor. I should run those videos on here, and we should all listen to him again. But his website is still up, shatterthedarkness.net. Go for his training courses and listen to his training courses. I could put up a link for you guys so you can just have the shortcut to find the list of training courses. He's got a bunch of different kinds. Listen, I never listened to his teaching on Revelation. That rapture is a false doctrine. That's the same thing as the alien ascension. Nowadays, people are like, oh yeah, the aliens are leaving Earth. Yeah. And so are the Christians. Better watch out. Yahusha's my golden bow. I'm his arrow. You guys think you're gonna float away? I'm popping all your balloons. You ain't going nowhere. You're staying put. He's coming here anyway. Why would you go floating off somewhere? That doesn't make sense. He says he's coming here, but you're gonna leave? Listen, stop eating Snickers and go get vegetable juice. What was I getting you? Well, this is Acts. That's not the whole list of training courses that he has. All right. You know what? Doesn't matter. I'm going to give you a link for Russ Dizdar's 8-month training course. It's on how to coach people that are SRA, DID, MK Ultra. Oh my gosh, my chat room. Hey, Joe, I got to get back to your email. I didn't forget. And George Boso. Nice. The chat's not coming up on my cell phone. All messages. All messages. Okay, I'm live, but where's my chat room? Hang on, I'm going to spiral a minute. I'll come right back. Hang on. I got my chat room back. Okay, cool. It's great to see you, Joe. I love you, sweetheart. Yahusha Barakas. I love that Barakas word. Forgive me. Anyway, I don't mean to be making hand gestures. It's just that I'm Sicilian and I talk with my hands, so I never mean to make any hand gestures. So in the chat room, I'll put it in the description box too. That is the link to Russ Dizdar's 8-month training course on how to coach somebody that's been trafficked, that, that has escaped occults. But first you got to learn Yahuwah and where in the Bible you can look things up, because you're going to need to show these victims in the Bible. They need to see it with their own eyes. They need to see it with their own eyes so they can start to learn to believe and trust him. And you always want to invite the Ruach Kadesh to come in to do the work. You never want to rely on memory retrieval techniques ever. Now, remember this, you supposed victims wanting to overcome your traumas and tortures to be a survivor, never let somebody use memory retrieval techniques on you. If they use these strange words, if they know how to pull forward an altar, they know how to reprogram an altar and put it back in, or they'll just reprogram the altar and leave the altar running loose. Bye-bye, your core raw personality. We'll see you. I don't know when. Dead or alive, I'm going to expose this stuff to you. You want somebody to rely only on the Ruach Kadesh. Now, I don't know Hebrew. Someone's called to my attention about the word ha, and I should just say Yeshua Mashiach and leave off the ha. Okay. I got to look into it. Bonnie, I had a dream about you. I woke up this morning. I meant to call you. I had a dream about you where doctors handed me papers and it was weird. Heavenly Abba, I don't want that dream to come true. Heavenly Abba, I lift up Bonnie to you and I bind and cast away that dream in Yahushua's name, Shem Selah. It's good to see you, Bonnie. And Ibrahim, good to see you. What was I saying? Children of God Ministries, New York City. It's nice to see you. Yahusha Barakas. Welcome. So spiritual warfare. But okay, I was talking about the memory retrieval techniques. Remember this. If they use these techniques to pull forward an altar, they can reprogram an altar and leave it running loose. I know Riggs did it to me. I also remember the dude from the Dumbs. You want programmers? Okay, you got Joseph Mangley, the Angel of Death's name. I was nicknamed Death in the Dumbs after him. And now you got Douglas Riggs' name. Leave me alone. I'm not around those people. And why are you trying to get at the programmers' names so bad? Why you need them so bad? You want to talk about Montauk? Some of those people are dead. Anyway, somebody's out there wanting to know my programmers and handlers. For what? Now you know them. Okay, I will. Yes, I can. You know, you can also call me, hey, Renata, it's good to see you. I don't want to ignore you, honey. No problem, Bonnie. And also remember, no, Bonnie, I'm not trying to be rude. I just mean to say, you're always welcome to call me too. Okay, don't forget. But I will call you. I'd be happy to, honey. All right. The memory retrieval techniques. So Riggs did that to me. Now, my mentor, Russ Dizdar, taught me about people that protect the queen, people that protect the enemy, right? So when I was telling Riggs about how December 20th, 2014, I went running through a neighborhood naked and I'd like to know why. Well, he was using memory retrieval techniques, but what I didn't realize at that time, he pulled forward my altar that went through human hunting parties. He pulled forward the altar that was chained to in the Buckingham Palace dungeons with the man and woman who would, you know, do that good cop, bad cop. They would traumatize us and beat us. We were chained up in the Buckingham Palace dungeons. There's a few of them. That's me. And there was this girl that kept trying to help me because I was in just disbelief. I couldn't understand what was happening. There's the man and woman. The man trafficked me on a commercial airliner. They beat the kids. And I went, the drugs were in the food. And I was put through a human hunting party. That was one. The other one was at Castle Amaroy, who call it the Mothers of Darkness. Okay, see, there's the man. He had a fake passport. And on the passport, it said something like Lori Renaud Schultz. Come to find out, I think Lori might be a name that they use for programming. And then my birthday, they had October 13th, 1975 on the passport. I know, I saw it when I was a kid. This is looking out a window. This is a night table. These are books and shelves. This is his desk with papers and books. That's a lamp, books and shelves. I found out when Sean Ryan came on, I found out from one of his guests that when the government wants to give you a fake ID and wipe your whole existence clean and give you a completely new ID, they add 1 month, 1 day, and 1 year onto your birth certificate. But I didn't find that out until I started listening to Sean Ryan's guests. And back in 2019, I gave Riggs this testimony. He's like, oh no, Holly, you were in someone's home over in Switzerland. That was a private home. We don't know who those people were. So he wanted me to think I was over in Switzerland with some average Joe Schmo and Jane Doe. And meanwhile, I was chained up in Buckingham Palace dungeons. And why was I running through the neighborhood naked December 20th? Because so far I've been through 2 human hunting parties. One at Buckingham Palace, the 1,000 Points of Light. Yeah, there's a building on the side of the mansion. And inside that building, there's a room with the ark. And when you do a sacrifice, the 1,000 points light up. It's that entity. I don't know how to explain it. I'll pause and say, hey, Helindia guy, it's great to see you. So, and this is my testimony. You watch. Don't let Shelly, Allie, and Safi and people like that steal it. Because they do. That's MK Ultra. The cages and the kids being electrocuted and then we'd be programmed and trained after that. That's MK Ultra. That's my memory. I'm not lying. I think it's sick and twisted. Those people are mentally sick that they would lie about something like this. This is a memory from when Joseph Mangley was electrocuting me and another little boy. This is the day that I decided what was happening to me was hurting me worse than it would hurt my grandparents to find out that I was dead. And I was ready to die because it hurt that bad. The babies in jars, and there were other things in the jars, and these things were awake and aware, and they saw me and the other kids being tortured in the my labs, and that there was a witch. Oh, she was evil. She cut herself open, and it looked to me like she cut off a piece of her own heart and ate it. Evil and wicked. It looks like that lady. There's some fashion designer that just looks like a little demon, and she wears these dresses with the pointed shoulders, and her husband looks like Frankenstein, too. He's nasty. Yeah, she kind of looked like that, but the baby's in the jars. But there were other things, too. Now, they saw the trauma and torture going on. So once they're outside that jar, the trauma and torture they saw me and the other kids be put through, that's normal for them. They're going to continue to live like that. I feel like a Rothschild science experiment because gene splicing was used in my creation. My mother, biological father, Anunnaki DNA, and David Girl Rothschild, I believe. That's what I gathered from my altars. Shapeshifters. Royals, they shapeshift. These are the cages. Like when I tell you, like, go into a super store, Walmart, take out the aisles and rows and replace them with cages. Sometimes 3 stacked. In this memory, it was just cages. They weren't stacked on each other. It was just a huge warehouse and cages and like 5 to 10 kids stuffed inside each one. And they electrocuted us and all the cages got quiet. There was some movement in my cage. There was a little bit of movement in the cage over there. So if I was there, there was a little bit of movement over here in the cage. I think I have this drawing backwards. And there's a little bit of movement over here, and there was movement in my cage. I remember them traumatizing and torturing me so much that I could not wait to get back to my cage. I remember coming out of one of these programming rooms that they were torturing me in as a small little kid. I remember walking out, and actually this one time I had a towel or a blanket with me. And I was so happy to get done with that trauma and torture that I walked back to my cage, put myself in it, and closed the door behind me and wrapped my whole head up, my whole body in that towel. And I only left a spot open to breathe. I was under the age of 10. I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it was more like 3, 4, 5, or 6, that age group. That's when the shapeshifter raped me, made the other kids watch. And then when that thing was done with me, they went out and got all the other kids and did the same thing to those kids. A memory of Joe the mechanic himself. Now, this is when it was like a classroom, so to speak. like imagine a classroom that fits 20, 30 students. Well, you line that room with cages 3 stacked high and put a table in the middle. And he had different kinds of weapons and tools and knives. And I don't even know how to explain it. And he would electrocute us over and over and over and over again. You couldn't even catch a breath. That was this time. There was blood all over the floor by the time he was done. I think it was my cage and the other little boy. I think we were the only 2 left alive in that room. He electrocuted us over and over. And then what seemed random to us, he would go to a cage and just grab a kid, yank it out, torture it to death. And he was a sorcerer. So he was doing his satanic rituals while sacrificing the kids and doing human experimentation on us. This, I think, was Nelson, Canada. It could have also been another dumb over in Utah, the UK. I don't know, but the Skinner boxes, they'd put us in playpens with these angry monkeys. One would eat your skin. Another one would beat you. I forget what the third one would do. They'd put us in with snakes and different animals. And it seemed like there were overgrown, mutated wolves. They had, like, for lack of better terms, a Skinner box that they'd put on a kid's head, and they would, like, put, like, insects and stuff inside the box. And there were, like, little windows and doors that you could open, like, to just look at the face or just look at the ears, and the programmers would torture the person. I saw them do that to a little girl. They had put me in a Skinner box like this, like a coffin buried with like spiders and snakes and stuff. And I remember the playpens. I don't know if this happened to me. It could have. I remember it happening to another little girl. Ugh. Yuck. So, where was this? Montauk. Huh. Like these cages, like they only had a little peephole in the front. They're kind of different. The Montauk chair. I was trying to draw out a couple of memories in this one picture of Montauk. Sage Radar. Trying to escape Montauk. I want to talk about spiritual warfare. Nelson, Canada, I think it was Nelson, Canada. They ambushed us. One faction fought with another faction, and they ambushed us, and the adults started shooting the kids because I guess it was better to kill the kids than to allow them to be rescued. But one faction was fighting with another faction. And when the other faction got us, it wasn't like we were rescued and sent back home. It was like we were rescued, but turned back over into these MK Ultra projects, except now they were not going to torture us to death. We'd at least have a chance of surviving. Like, this is probably when the real training started, because shortly thereafter, in my early teenage years, I was sent out on assignments and missions, various ones. Here's a map of my mind. You talk about code words and triggers. Shelly and Allie go, oh, the contracts are going to be sold. That is nothing but blatant lies. Those trigger and code words, this is a map of my mind and the altars. Each one of these boxes has code words, but they're not sold. It's not a contract. You want to be an MK Ultra programmer? Anybody can get their hands on the trigger words. Anybody can. They're not sold. Like Holly Baglio doesn't get just specific code words for her, and then Tori gets certain ones for her. It does not work like that. It does not work like that in Hollywood or anywhere else. Now, the Freemasons have a way of programming their victims that is different than Mangley, but the techniques are similar. There's things that are very similar across the board. Here's the first time I attempted to draw a map of my mind. Didn't work out too great. But that's kind of how things work when you start pulling forward tiers. And for me, anytime a tier was forward, it was always 3 altars. It was never just one. Even if I said it was one or it appeared to be one, it wasn't. It was always 3, at least 3 or more, because they came out by tiers. So it'd always be 3. Sometimes the altars were aware of each other. Sometimes they weren't. I got off on a big, long tangent. I was talking about spiritual warfare. How did we get into this? All right. So I've been opened up to the spirit realm. I went through freedom deliverance through Yahusha, Messiah. I was set free from Beelzebub, Osiris, and Asmodeus. And for the side, done with Thoth. I want no part of it. So, I gotta get in the mood to eat. I'm not in the mood to eat. What time did I get up at? 9, 10, 11. Was I up at 8? Yeah, but I think I laid in bed. So I still got 30 more minutes before I can make my kratom tea. So spiritual warfare. So you want to repent for your sins. You want to get washed and covered in the blood of the Lamb. You want to ask Abba, Abba, guide me through this. Tell me, is it something that I did that brought out this spiritual attack, or is it something that somebody else sent out at me? What's the reason for this spiritual attack? And then bind and cast it away. Fix the problem, bind and cast it away. Learn whatever it is that you have to learn so the demons stop capitalizing and attacking you in areas where you just don't know the information, but you need to educate yourself. And if you did educate yourself, you could go back to the demon and be like, hey, I know what I'm doing right now. Get out. Go back to whence you came, whatever. I bind and cast you away. Get away from me. Get out of here, off my property now, in Yahusha's name, Selah. Now, if you have an astral traveler, astral projector, remote viewer, somebody sending telepathic messages, somebody trying to spy on you using dark powers and demons, somebody sending these things out after you, what you want to say is, Heavenly Abba, I bind and cast away the 2 entities that people use to astral travel, astral project, remote view, send telepathic messages, to send out satanic surveillance, as well as to send out these demons against me, to torment me. In Yahusha's Shem, in Yahusha's name, Selah. Yahusha's. And I say, Abba, I bind and cast away magic, sigil, incantations, hoodoo, voodoo, vexes, hexes, curses, incantations, things I don't even know about, rituals, sacrifices, necromancy, sorcery, Luciferianism, occultism, Satanism, witchcraft, warlockism, wizardry, or anything else done against me, my household, my relationship with you, my spiritual gifts, me serving you, my loved ones, your creation, your people, animals, domestic and wild. If they do any of that against me and who I'm praying for, then I bind and cast this down and away, unable to even hurt the ground, unable to hurt the earth. Abba, please bring your wrath, and engage them directly. Maybe once they see your wrath, they'll stop messing around. Or maybe they'll stop messing around with me. Ultimately, yeah, I want to win a soul. But if they're going to stay acting depraved, then have your wrath on them. Have your judgment on them. In Yahusha's name, Selah. I pray this stuff a bunch of times a day, not just once and expect it to work 24 hours. I pray it constantly. Heavenly, you got to repent for your sins, get washed and covered in the blood of the Lamb, ask for your full armor, and then start binding and casting away. Some people may say, I rebuke you, get out of here, or I renounce you, get out of here, I renounce you, I rebuke you. I don't know, find your own voice with Yahuwah. This is what I say to him. I ask him to engage these people directly that do this stuff against me. And whoever sent that grisly thing out after me, may Abba have his wrath on the person, and may they stop. Witches are relentless. So are Freemasons. You ever step in a pothole filled with Freemasons? Oh, you can't get rid of them like a bad habit. And then they come in numbers. Witches are the same way. And if you get stuck praying, you need to add fasting. And a lot of these things, you're going to have to fast in order to get them out. Powers and principalities bring legions. You're not getting rid of those things unless you fast. Now, I've heard people go, oh, Holly, I have fasting a part of my diet. Well, aren't you stupid? You're not using fasting appropriately, and somebody needs to tell you the truth. I'm not going to yes you to death. You are abusing fasting if you have it a part of your routine. That's not how Abba says to use fasting. Oh, and if you're bloated and you go on a fast because you're bloated, that's not fasting to Yahuwah. You can't tack on Yahuwah to it. If you want to fast to bind and get rid of powers and principalities, go to him, ask him how long it's going to take. It depends the situation. On my own personal attacks, honestly, it depends the situation. It depends what I'm doing, like cleaning out my house. And also, maybe terminating friendships. That might take me a couple weeks. I might fast for 2 weeks. I've had demonic attacks last for 3 months, but the reason why it lasted so long was because I had to educate myself on what type of an attack it was to get rid of it, but I'll never forget. And now when I'm face to face with something that's like that attack, I'll know what to do. Sometimes I fasted 1 meal, sometimes 3 days, sometimes 1 day. Typically 3 days. I like to spend time with Abba. So when I fast, that's my chance where I'm before him. Don't feel bad for me. I'm with Abba. I'm happy. I'm at my happiest with him. So I'll fast with him for 3 days, and then I'll return to the problem, and I'll be like, all right, you're getting out. When it comes to demonic possession with you, say somebody comes to me and they're serious and they want to get rid of the demon, they're demonically possessed, then I just lost my train of thought. If they were like serious about getting rid of it, personally, I would take a few days to fast and go before Abba and ask him what to do. How's it going to go? What do I say? What am I dealing with? I would take probably a couple of moments or at least a meal, something. I would take some time with Abba. But if the person was serious, I would bind and cast away their demon. I can't remember what I was going to say because that's not what I was going to say. To get rid of principalities with legions, you have to first bind and cast away the head honcho and then tell it to take its legions with it on its way out. You have to say it, bind and cast you away, take your legions with you, get out in Yahusha's name. What was I going to say? When somebody goes through a freedom deliverance, I do not stop the freedom deliverance until every single demon is gone. And if that person and I are tired, and hopefully I'll have a witness with me, because usually with demonic possession, it's nice to have two people, one to praise Abba, one to bind and cast away demons. Now, this isn't like a serious case. Not everybody needs this. I don't know. But if everybody got tired, well, too bad. We're staying with each other. I guess we'll just have to stay on the phone. You can go eat. You can rest for an hour or two, but you're staying on the phone with me. I'm not leaving you alone with those demons until every one of them is out. Now that we started that process, I'm not letting you out of my sight until it's completely done. I'm not leaving you alone with those demons. We're going to get every one of them out. So once it's started, I'm not finishing until it's stopped. If you need to take a nap, fine. I'm staying on the phone with you. Or if I'm face to face, fine. I'm staying with you. Go take your nap, but I'm staying with you. When you're restored, we can go back at it. No problem. But I'm not leaving you alone until every one of those demons is out of you. And if you or someone you know went through a freedom deliverance and the pastor or evangelist goes, oh, well, we got 10 of them out. We got 3 of them out. It's okay if they have a couple left over. We can pick it up next week. Right there, the person does not know what they're doing. You should get them out right then and there. And until you get them all out, you do not leave that person alone. Sometimes it's quick. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it might take a day or 3 days or 2 hours. I don't know. It depends the situation, the person, and what you're dealing with. Just rely on the Ruach Kadesh, and he'll guide you. The Ruach Kadesh is heavenly Abba with us right now in spirit. That's why it's the unforgivable sin if you blaspheme the Ruach Kadesh, because that's Yahuwah with us in spirit right now. Right now. Some people might say Holy Spirit. I would prefer personally, if you don't mind, and even if you did, I'm still going to say it anyway, Ruach Kadesh. His Ruach, even better, even easier, his Ruach, his spirit. That's our companion, him, the spirit of resurrection. So, don't be afraid of demons. You need to know the authority that Heavenly Abba has loaned to you and wield it. His power, his authority, he loans it to you. You need to know how to wield it. Don't let these demons scare you. They have to listen to his name. Even if you're startled, and say you're startled, you happen to see something and it scared you, and you're like, oh, gee, and you're real startled at first. Sometimes I'll get so startled where the only thing that I can say is Yahusha, 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 like even in sleep paralysis. But once I say Yahusha, Yahusha, I'll start calming down, and then I'll be like, okay, Yahusha, I repent for my sins, but clear my atmosphere. Pour the blood of the Lamb on my house. Please fill and overflow my room with your Ruach. Please dwell here in my home the way that you dwell in heaven. Please, I bind and cast away these demons, aliens, powers, principalities, entities, legions. Get them out of here right now. So, hi, Sam Glows. What was I saying about spiritual warfare? Know Abba's authority and wield it. Use it. If you're stuck, go to him, ask him for help. I don't know, maybe fast for him, with him, just to be in his presence, because when we fast, we are in his presence, and he'll guide you from there. Have faith in him. But whatever lifestyle you have, if you want him and you want salvation, you can have it. Just start turning to him. Ask him for help. Ask him to show you his countenance and explain his ways to you. But once you seek him out and you get to know him, your life is going to change automatically. You're going to want it, but he's also going to do all the work to help you change it. But you're going to want to do things differently, because you're going to want to stop being worldly, and you're going to want to be a follower of him, especially once you see his power. And, once you see that he's undefeated in spiritual warfare, and these things have to listen to his name. Even astral travelers, the first thing you do is cut off the entities they use to do such things. And then you say, Abba, please escort this person off my property, and slam them back in their body. In Yahusha's name, Selah. And what happens is you make the demons flee. They're stuck. They can't get back to their body. And then you have Abba escort them off your property and slam them back in their body. Now, you never, ever want to clip someone's silver cord. I'm going to tell you that right now, and this is probably the most important thing that I could ever tell you. Do not ever snip someone's silver cord. Don't ever pray it. Don't ever fast it. Don't ever think it. Don't ever write it. Don't ever, ever do it. That is spiritual murder. Period. It's spiritual murder. Someone's silver cord, when someone leaves their body, when someone leaves their body to astral travel, astral project, remote view, do whatever they're doing, their spirit body, their spirit being, their soul is attached to their physical body via this silver cord. You snip that cord, there's no way they can get back to their body. Even if they found somebody at their current location somehow to hitch a ride to go back and get to the body, they would still not be able to get inside their body. So what would happen is their body would wither away and die, and now they're stuck there. They're stuck in the astral realm. They can't come here to the physical realm. They cannot do anything to you. They're stuck. They're stuck getting beaten up by demons. They've got no body to return to, and they're stuck. They can't do anything to you or me. They can't do anything to animals, but they're stuck in that realm, and they get beat up on demons, and there's nothing they can do. They have to wait until Yahusha comes back, and then he'll clear all this garbage away. He'll get rid of it all, and it won't be there anymore. You never want to snip someone's silver cord, because you're committing spiritual murder. They won't be able to get back to their body. They'll die. From what I know, they get stuck in that world, but maybe once their body dies, their soul dies too, which would make more sense. But yeah, they die. When you snip that silver cord, you've discombobulated them. So I think right, Alba, it makes more sense that once their body wither aways and dies, until their body dies, they're stuck in that realm. But I think, yeah, once their body dies, then they will eventually die, and, But if they're messing around like that, guaranteed they're not going to be judged as sheep. So once they die, they're going straight to hell because they're not living right. Now, when Heavenly Abba takes you somewhere, he protects your physical body while he takes you out of it and brings you somewhere to show you something. But unless he's doing it and taking you himself, you and I are to stay away from stuff like that. Like I went to him and I was like, Abba, I want dreams and visions. Like I want you to take me places. I want you to show me things. Like, and he did. I mean, he showed me Yahusha's baptism. Yeah. In a dream, he showed me. Um, he's taken me places. And it's all in the course of learning. And I don't know, just go to him. He's a supernatural God. He's not going to like sit you in a pew and forget about you so you can collect dust. He's going to put you to work. He's going to need you to do spiritual warfare and to pray for people, to do baptisms by water and fire, to get out there, to not be afraid to talk to people or not be afraid to talk to people online, regardless if, you know, they've got millions of friends or not. You know, we need to get out there. We're in end times facing off with tribulation. There's a lot of spiritual warfare and people are searching for answers. But there's also a great falling away. People don't want the truth. They want to make it up as they go and come up with a different answer. They don't want to admit it's a demon. They want to call it a ghost and say that it's their dead friend or their dead grandma. And meanwhile, no, it's not. It's a demon. But they don't want the truth. They want to make it up. And there's a lot more false teachers and false prophets and liars, fakes, and frauds out there than there are real truthful people. We watch Shelly Alley and Safi swindle people. There's a lot of fakes, frauds, and liars out there, a lot of false teachers, a lot of false prophets. You know, it does matter. And people are always like, oh, his name doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. There's only one that works. He does not have 72 descriptive names. He's got one. Yahuwah means Yah adds breath. And when we inhale and exhale, our bodies make the sound of Yahuwah's name. When our heart beats and the blood beats through the valves into the different chambers of our heart, when it swishes through the valves, our heart makes a sound. That sound is Yahusha. Now, Yahusha means Yah adds salvation. When Yah returns, and there's no secret return like a rapture, there's only one return. When he returns, he's going to have a third and new name. I don't know. He says we don't know what it is yet. But I bet you it's going to be Yah something, because we got Yahuwah, we got Yahusha. We're going to have Yah. He's like, Holly, you're going to have to wait until I return. But Abba, I'm impatient. He's like, it's right around the corner, Holly. Anyway, his name's up there. All right. Well. Plus, he sits in the north, and that's the north. And that's a really bad drawing of the New Jerusalem, but that's the New Jerusalem. It's not the church. The church has fallen. I was called out of the church. Yahuwah is my rabbi. Like, I like to go to church just to be around people that BS and like be around like-minded folks. You know, I like that. Like, I like going to Dan Bedondi's because I grew up with a lot of those people. Like, even the people at Midnight Ride, I grew up with like a lot of those people. We've been friends for many years. I don't necessarily believe in the teachings that are taught, especially with Midnight Ride. But I like to be around those people and say hi and chit chat. There's some beautiful, fine folks. but I just don't come into agreement. That's another thing, guys. When you pray in agreement with somebody that's into false doctrine, you are taking yourself out of Yahuwah's will to bring yourself into agreement with a person who's not in his will. You and I, all of us have to stop doing that. I learned that the hard way. When you pray with somebody that believes in a rapture and you know it's false doctrine, and you pray in agreement with them, oh, well, Holly, I won't say anything about a rapture in the prayer. Guys, it doesn't matter. You're still praying in agreement with somebody who's not in the will of Abba. Even if they don't mention the rapture in the prayer. Like, I'm not a new believer. I'm not a new believer. I've got 10 years in. And these are the things that I've learned. If somebody wants to pray for me, I say, okay, thank you. Kind of do it on your own time. Like people, I pray on my own with you. Even with my friends, I'm kind of like, please don't pray because you got your own thing going on. I might not necessarily agree with you, even though you're my friend. So, a lot of times I just say thank you. If I'm doing a lot of spiritual warfare and if I'm fasting with Yahuwah, I don't pray in agreement with other people whatsoever. Even if they want to pray and they want to do their own thing, I'll just say, that's nice. Thank you. No, I'm already doing my thing with Yahuwah. They can go do their thing somewhere else. If I'm fasting with Yahuwah or if I'm doing something with Yahuwah, I'm not praying in agreement with anybody else. I don't know what they're doing on the back end. And yeah, whether I know or not, it's still going to affect me because I'm praying in agreement with them. If they're into that fake Jesus, I got friends that I love dearly that, they're into that fake Jesus. And it's like, oh, come on, guys. Like, I got to call you out too. Like, no offense. I've seen people call bad women godly women. And meanwhile, they're bad women. That's the fake Jesus when people do stuff like that. This is my channel. This is my diary. What, I'm not allowed to feel the way I feel? I'm not allowed to speak how I feel? It all starts with honesty. I really, I prefer that, I'll come when I want prayer. I will ask somebody, hey, will you pray with me? But for the most part, I don't. Like once in a while, I'll say to whoever's on the phone with, hey, do you mind if I pray for you? And they'll say yes or no. If they say no, I'm not off put. It's like, all right, don't worry. I'll pray for you on my own. I don't have to do it here. Anyway, and I'd rather pray on my own anyhow. Like, I don't know. Just I'm very particular. I don't want to come into an agreement with other people because then I'm taking myself out of agreement with him. I don't know what those other people are doing, close friends or not. Close friends or not, I don't know what they're doing. So I'm not going to jeopardize my relationship with Yahuwah, and neither should you guys. I'm saying this so you guys take my advice and learn from my mistakes that I've made in the past. Most likely I'm older than you anyhow. You should listen to your elders. I'm not old. I've got seniority though. Well, no, I'm old. But no, I'm not. I started a new jubilee. I'm at my first year. If you want to be on point with spiritual warfare, I just told you how. Follow those 10 commandments. Celebrate his feasts and festivals. Do not celebrate Christmas, Easter, New Year's, Thanksgiving. No, not Thanksgiving. He's got feasts and festivals and not. Okay, you're supposed to keep every Saturday holy. And then he's got 4 feasts. The first one, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, first fruits with the Passover meal. Second one, the Feast of Weeks, which Jews call Shabbat. Third one, Feast of Trumpets. Jews might say Rosh Hashanah. They also might say Yom Teruah and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the 25-hour fast. And last but not least, my all-time favorite, the Feast of Tabernacles, which Jews might say Sukkot. Celebrate them and you will know your maker. You'll also be putting your feet in his shoes. And these festivals have so much meaning and value. And you don't know it until you do it. And once you celebrate these, you're never going to want to deal with Hallmark again or Christmas or any of this other crap. You're not going to want to. You want to be in his presence? Then on Saturday, you keep it holy. And you celebrate his feasts and festivals. And you stop with your St. Patty's Day, Valentine's Day, Cinco de Mayo, President's Day, this day, that day. You have the Christian one-day Passover. You have Jewish traditional holidays like Hanukkah. Stop with all of that. You really want your maker? Then you got to go get him. Now, you'll find him working in the temple on Hanukkah. I found him working in the temple on Hanukkah. That's when I married him. Nobody else was there. Last I heard, he was single. So I said to him, how about it? He said yes. Him and I have a love story together. I'll have to tell you about it sometime. But but spiritual warfare, bind and cast away. Whatever it is, you can say, I rebuke that. I renounce this. I bind and cast this away. Get out of here. In Yahushua's name. Do not forget to say in Yahushua's name. It's really important. You do not want to chant. You do not have to say things 7 times. You can. I don't know. Maybe Abba might have you do something 7 times. But you don't want to make anything a chant or a routine. Fasting should never be used as a routine. That's not the right way to use fasting. You are to use fasting when you want answers, when you want to repent, when you want to bind and cast away a principality that has legions as well as powers. That's when you use fasting. When somebody's demonically possessed or demonically oppressed, you don't want to touch them. So when you go to church, you shouldn't be in church on Sundays anyway, but when you're sitting there, even at a conference, and they say, oh, turn the person next to you and touch and hug and shake hands. No, that's all it takes is for a demon to jump. Yes, I'm not being exaggerating. Certain demons, that's all it takes is a brief handshake. Hey, Joe, Renata. Right. Well, go to Abba. It's not only food and water or food and drink that we can fast. You can fast cigarettes. You can fast liquor. I don't know. You can fast other things. I don't know. Friday nights out. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can fast. Like right now, my health is bad. So when I want to fast, like when I start praying for my friends, I've been keeping my fasts to a day. When it comes to other people, I'll keep it to a day fast. Lately, I've been doing that, but it's all Abba guiding me. But when I'm praying for other people, regardless, I may fast a meal or a day. But for my fasting requirements, Abba tells me you have to eat 3 square meals a day. Take your vitamins, minerals, and you better keep hydrated. and I'm slacking at both. So that, like, do you know how hard it is for me to eat good? It is so easy for me not to eat. You have no idea. No idea how easy it is not to eat. I'm great at not cooking. So it's very challenging for me to stay hydrated and eat properly, but Abba will make me do that. Like if I have a baptism by water and fire, like usually somebody will say, Holly, when do you want to do it? And I'll be like, when do you want to do it? And they'll be like, are you free tomorrow? Like, or they'll be like, next week, whenever. But I'll like fast for 24 hours for that, because I'll be like, Abba, what do I say? I'm already getting stage fright, and please give me a special message for the guest of honor. And what do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? I'm nervous. How's this going to go? You know, I go to him sometimes. Like he'll tell me, like, there was one time he told me, Holly, you're going to have to fast 3 days. There was another time where I just kind of knew I was going to have to fast for 2 weeks. You know, I was going through some demonic attacks, but I was cleaning out my house. I was also getting rid of people that, like, I was getting rid of wolves in sheep's clothing. They were pretending to be my friend, but really behind the scenes, they were occultists, Satanists, or they were just out. They had their own agenda. And it was at my expense. So, you know, I've done a fast. Honestly, when I was waking up back in 2014, 15, and 16, before my dumb ass got twisted up with the dude that collapsed my lung and came back and attacked me a second time with his friend, which I wish I left my Facebook post up that night, because then I could have confirmed my timeline. Anyway, hold on a second. So when I first turned to Yahuwah in 2014, 15, and 16, I was doing 40-day long prayers with fasting. I was doing 40-day long fasts. No, I was not. Okay, what I did for that 40 days was I gave up one meal. So I was still eating 2 meals a day. I was trying to make sure. Yeah, I gave up 1 meal a day. And I was struggling to just make it 2 meals. I was really struggling to have 2 meals at that time. But I do 40 days of prayer and fasting. The first time I did 40 days of fasting, I gave up 1 meal a day. So I was eating 2 meals a day. And that was to rip off the horn of fear from Satan's head. The second set of 40 days of prayer and fasting, that was for me to rip off the second horn on Lucy's head. And that's the horn of doubt. I hate doubt. So, and then I think I did like 15 to 17 rounds of 40 days of prayer and fasting. I was like, 15 to 17 rounds of 40 days of fasting. I was seeking answers. I was repenting. I was turning to Heavenly Abba. And I didn't know what I was doing, so I just did the best I could. So I spent, what is that, like 700 days right off the bat. I spent, like 800 days. Just me and Yahuwah. But that's a couple of years, right? So, yeah, like when I first woke up from MK Ultra, I spent all that time with you. I had to. I really didn't want a relationship. I did not. Where is it? But you say fasting for special occasions. You do not take fasting and put it a part of your diet. Yeah, like if you do a Jericho march, that's okay to do something repeatedly, but I don't see any reason to ever say prayers repeatedly because it's all chants. Like I might scream out Barak Yahuwah for Yahusha HaMashiach, but I only say it a couple of times. I'm not saying it purposefully 3 times or purposefully 7 times or purposefully 4 times. I might say it a few times, but I'm not counting the number. Like, I don't know, unless Abba draws your attention to a number, I would like make certain that you did not chant. I did not chant or turn anything into a ritual. And I've seen people try to take fasting and turn it into a routine, and that's the wrong thing to do. And then when they engage in spiritual warfare, nothing happens, and that's because they've made fasting a part of their daily routine, and it's wrong. Give me a minute. Excuse me. I gotta. Hey, Mountain Man, Mayo, it's great to see you. Trauma really affects your appetite, plus food can be a trigger. You're so right, Renata. Not at all. I don't know if it'll post up. I don't know if you put it up. But you might have to fidget with it. Like you could leave off the HTTP, www, whatever, and just put up. It should take the rest of it. Let me know if it doesn't. What is today? Wednesday. It's a good thing I remembered to take that off mute. I made a huge mess. I hate living on the second floor because it takes forever for the water to heat up. Is this better? Yeah, I mixed it a little bit too much. Like, look at that. Because now it's down to there. But still, that's a lot. I make good shakes. 4 raw eggs and a banana. Don't be telling me, you got to quit eggs. You got to quit this. You got to quit that. Don't nobody get religious and legalistic on me. I don't want to hear that. Now, if Abba called you to get rid of chickens and eggs, he called you to do it, not me. He's not bringing that to my attention. You're bringing it to my attention. There's a big difference. And that's not Abba calling me to it. I'm already a picky eater. I already do not eat anything. And now you want to take away, I only eat beef and chicken. And now you want to take away chicken? What the fuck? You want me to go? You want me to die? You want me to stop eating? You're going to take half my diet away because you heard somebody else go, oh, wait, chickens are different today than they used to be. Yeah, so are grapes, bananas, and apples, but you still eat them, right? No, I don't. Listen, guys, I saw a video from John Truth, and I took the trouble to put up a whole big comment. I should have just put it up. Instead, I cowered down and erased it like a dumbass. There's sometimes when people get a message from Heavenly Abba, and the message is for them, not the rest of humanity. Abba has called my attention to things in my life, and he was calling my attention to it. He wasn't calling your attention to it. For instance, he doesn't want me to say words like G-O-D. Because I don't want to summon G-O-D-R-A-E-L, which tricked Adam and Eve in Eden. I don't want to say words like L-O-R-D. That's going to summon B-A-A-L. I don't want any other Alua or Elohim's name in my mouth other than Yahuwah. And in the good book, he does say, don't have any other deities' names in your mouth. So the only name that's going to be in my mouth is Yahushua HaMashiach. I'm not going to say J-U-S-U-S because when my heart beats, my heart says Yahusha. That's the noise it makes. So I'm not going to say J-E-S-U-S. I'm also not going to say J-E-H-O-V-A-J-A-H. What the hell ever that is. The J-E-H-O-V-A, whatever that is, I'm not saying that. That's not his name. Now, there's an imposter that calls himself J-E-H-O-V-A-H. That's an imposter to my Yahuwah. Yahuwah means, we went through this, Yahuwah means Yah adds breath. Every time we inhale and exhale, our bodies are making a noise, and that noise is Yahuwah's name. Every time our heart beats, the blood swishing through the valves into the different chambers, our bodies make a sound, and that sound is Yahusha. Go listen to a heart monitor. It doesn't say those other names. So I'm not going to say those other names because I want all my praise, all my worship, all my glory, all my honor going to only Yahuwah for Yahushua HaMashiach. I'm not trying to be a jerk to anybody, but I remember this one woman, you know, the type of woman that if you stubbed your toe and you happen to say the F-bomb, it would still be too much for her virgin ears and she'd go off, oh my God, what'd you say? I don't care that you stubbed your toe. What? No, I will not call 911 for you. You said the F-bomb. You go ask for help. You know what I mean. the people that are offended by words. I don't get offended by words. I don't. Like, vocabularies don't scare me, whether you consider it a curse word or not. I've been known to make up my own curse words. So words don't scare me. I don't have delicate ears. I'm not a powder puff. I'm a warrior. Warriors don't get scared away by language or by words. They don't. I would prefer not to use curse words just because I would like people to pay attention to me and it sounds better. But that's just my personal preference. But Abba's called my attention to words because I asked him for wisdom. And he said, Holly, watch what you say because you can summon these other entities just by simply saying their name. And I don't want you doing that. But that's given my background. I come from the dumbs. Series on the tarot is playing with spiritual warfare. Who would do something like that? You are being a jerk to your chat for ignoring us. I would have said a-hole, but boy, you went gentle on me. Thank you, ECWN. I'm going to show you my back muscles for that. See? The trigger words. Oh, geez, I don't know what they are. But if you say them and you get them right, well, we'll both find out. You know any trigger words? Say them. Let's find out. I'm curious. Abba's like, Holly, stop it. You know what they say about curiosity, right? Yeah, that's why he's telling me to knock it off. Yeah, I'm drawn. If I knew any, I'd tell you so that way you could tell me and try to trigger me, see if it worked. If I showed up on your front doorstep, it worked. I'll just ask the spirit realm, where's ECWN at? Which direction? Show me. Just point in the general direction. I'll find out. I'm teasing ECWN. South of you. Yeah, I kind of figured, right? I have an idea. I'll go to that park and I'll just stand in the middle of it going, ECWN. Didn't come, remember? Yeah. I'll go running up and down the canal. ECWN, where are you? I'll run down the canal as far as I can, and I'll run up the canal as far as I can. Who's ECWN? What, you expect me to know his real name? He knows who he is. Essington exit. I'm supposed to remember. Off of what road? ECWN knows who he is. I don't even know who I'm looking for, but I'm calling his name. I only got 2 more of these. Plus, I have to eat food, like a meal. And then I can skate by. I was trying to make sure I get like one of these shakes plus 2 meals a day. But that's like, if I did that, I might bounce up to 125 pounds really fast. All the time and ask him, do you know who I am? There were You know, when you have strangers coming to you and saying, "Do you know who you are, Holly?" That's when there's a problem. No, I don't. Would you mind telling me? I've been called an amnesiac because I don't remember. I mean, I remember bits and pieces of the dumbs and bits and pieces of the cages. But I've been trying to search for the kids that I was trafficked with. I've been trying to search for those three super soldiers that came back to me December 2011. But so far I'm striking out. Casbolt said no, it wasn't him. I asked another person, but they haven't answered me. I asked the third person, but anytime they have an opportunity to talk to me, that third person just yells at me. So I don't talk to that third person anymore. But I mean, I've been searching for the kids I was trafficked with, but I was also, mainly searching for those soldiers that came back for me December 2011. Maybe I'm confusing Casbolt with somebody else. Maybe I'm confusing him with a programmer, which I can tell you right now, I apologize to Mr. Casbolt for confusing him. But I do not take back my testimony that I do remember him when he was a small child. And then again, when he was a young teenager. And then when I was about 18, I was farmed out to Seagate. So I was with different people at that point. I saw a lot of different kids. And the type of person I am, I wanted to find some of the kids I was trafficked with to see if they were okay, to find out what happened. I've met people that were trafficked. I'd like to think I met only a couple people. If it were true, it would have only been a couple people, like 2, possibly 3 people, that maybe 4 that I reunited with. One girl was from the Vanderbilt family. I remember the Vanderbilts. I thought they were nicer than the Rothschilds, to be honest with you. The Cullens daughters were not nice. The eldest daughter was really intelligent, but the young one was really cruel, if my memory serves me. But anyway, and no offense, what would it benefit Mr. Casbolt to say? Yes. It would not go to benefit him at all. So, but nonetheless, I'm sticking to my testimony. But it does occur to me because I had a flash flood of memories come back in 2014. And at this point, those memories, they are becoming clearer. But it appears I may have been thinking that one of the kids I was trafficked with was basically, I confused some of these kids that I was trafficked with. I confused them with a handler. So I apologize to Mr. Casbolt for confusing him with a handler. And that's why there's parts of my book that I need to adjust. And I had a programmer. It was not the mother of one of the children I was trafficked with. She was not at all. There's this one woman that I'm thinking of, but in my testimony, she's just a programmer. So, it took me 8 years for full reintegration. I've been with Yahusha, my golden bow, for 10 years now. I'm trying to get used to full reintegration, and I know enough to get me by. Craig Sawyer. Uh-oh. It's good to see you, Mayo. I'll see you later. I got to take that phone call. I'm going to have to get going anyway because I've been here an hour and 40 minutes. The name kind of sounds familiar. He never rescued me. But that's the other thing. Like when it comes to being programmed like I am, in order to get me out, I have to be programmed out. It was one of the programmers. I thought it was Mangley, but it could have been Mangley's protege. But in 2008, for 3 weeks, they were accessing me astrally, but they were programming me out. They were telling me I had to get out, and if you come back, they're going to kill you. Come back to the dumps. Come back to missions and assignments. Like if I'm triggered or called or signaled, like, don't go back, Holly. They're going to murder you. You got to stay out. That's it. So 3 years later, when those 3 super soldiers came up to me, Mangley, I believe it was Mangley. If I'm wrong, it was his protege. By December 2011, when those 3 super soldiers approached me to say, Holly, do you remember me? Do you remember the kids in the cage? Do you remember us? We're going to go on TV, tell them what's going on. Like, they had to approach me. If somebody approached me now, like those 3 super soldiers did, I would have been out. I'd be running the opposite way. You would not have a chance to say hi to me. I'd be in the opposite direction running away. I don't care if it is a friendly. I'd be running in the opposite direction. Even in December 2011, I was walking up, like I was right there. So when that other super soldier came out, he came out of that bathroom stall, took 2 steps, had his hand open, and I'm just a friendly person anyway. And I'm like 3 steps away from the woman's room door. So he just swung around the side. Hi, Holly. Had his hand in mine, happy face. So once my hand hit his, I was scoped. But probably if he had not done that so quick and so fast and scoped me, my alters would have recognized him and been like, oh, see you later. And I would have been out. I wouldn't have even said, see you later. You would have just seen me like turn and be gone. Like, I'm out. But see, even though I'm fully reintegrated and my alters are gone, I still have their information. So if I saw a peculiar face in the crowd or something, it would still catch my attention and I'd still run away. Oh, okay. Hey, forget me not. How you doing? He's about our age. You have no coffee this morning. Oh, you must be a miserable person right now. Craig Randall Salmon Sawyer. So he's older than me. I'm 50. I was 74. So he's 61. I'm tired and exhausted. I'm trying to catch up to my paperwork and stuff I got to do. I got to take a trip out to Flemington. And I'm not looking forward to it. And I really can't take that trip yet, but I don't have a choice. I wouldn't mind going for a drive. It'll get me out of the house. My stomach is so upset from drinking that shake. I really feel miserable right now. I'm not trying to complain. It's hard to eat. Like I'm trying to hold back vomiting. Thank you, Mountain Man. I appreciate it. My stomach feels really uncomfortable. I feel like I'm force feeding myself right now. I pretty much am. I'm not ready for the second cup whatsoever. That's going to take another hour. Oh, you know what I have to do? I actually have to do a cleanse for my liver and kidney. And how do we do that? Easy, I tell you, easy, like this. And then this one's supposed to have a bunch of other stuff in it. I got to get more dandelion root. Hey, Giant B. No, I'm sorry. I was going to shut this down and switch over. I have every intention of calling you back. Don't apologize, honey. I'm sorry to you. So I've been here for almost 2 hours. 15 minutes. I get going soon. I look horrible today. Anyway. It's yucky outside. Ooh. That has a big smell. And then this one. This is the dandelion. Oh, I'm going to drink that. That's going to cleanse me. It better had. I need it. My kidney and liver need it. I wonder if I should put it in a cup of kratom. Don't worry about that, Giant B. I don't care. I guess I should pretty much end it. What else can I say about spiritual warfare? Just be careful who you come into agreement with when praying. Don't feel pressured that you have to pray with other people. There's a time and place to lay hands on one another. And the majority of people I know don't like to be touched. And if somebody's demonically possessed, you don't want to touch them anyway. It's more common than a person would think. The demons that jump, they're more common than somebody thinks. And it's easy as giving a hug or a handshake. Like when it comes to soul ties, like I've heard some dude said to me one day, "Oh, Holly, I've heard of soul ties, but to set them up, you got to have sex like 10 times, okay?" I was like, "No, dude, just the tip. Just the tip is enough to set up a soul tie. Once is all it takes. It doesn't take 10 times. It takes a kiss, handshake, hug, any intimate act. Intercourse, that's a definite soul tie." Definite soul tie. I have made sure to renounce any and all soul ties that I've set up over the course of my life, so that way the other dudes can never get back to me by using that soul tie. So like say if they go to a witch or something and they're like, "I want Holly back. I want her to forever be in love with me and crying over me." Like there's no soul tie, there's nothing that'll connect us, but also that spell and magic that it once that's sent out against me, I'm covered in the blood of the lamb. It's just going to disintegrate because the blood of the lamb is bigger. It cleans out your liver and kidneys. Tea's a diuretic. Keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, Heidi. Man, I waited a long time to say that. Who's Heidi? Don't worry about who she is. It ain't about her. I just waited a long time to say that. Yeah, Heidi, keep your damn icky, yucky hands to yourself. It's bad enough your beady eyes are always staring me down. your beady Queen Elizabeth eyes. I lost a viewer. When I said that. It could have been Heidi. She was secretly lurking in the shadows. That'd be too funny if it was, though. No, I don't have any friends named Heidi. My grandmother got a dog that was already named Heidi. It was a show dog. Do you know how many times I got called Heidi and that dog got called Holly? A lot. You ever feel like going to the store, getting a nice bottle of wine, coming home, filling up a glass with ice cubes, pouring in some wine and just sitting there and listening to music all day, maybe eating picky foods? I could go for a day like that. I'm already in my pajamas bumming around and it's really windy outside. I can tell you I'm already going to have a miserable day Thursday and Friday, but I can't tell you why. But I'm kind of dreading Thursday and Friday because I'm going to have to see somebody I don't want to see. Milk thistle. I used to take milk thistle all the time. I'm going to have to get that again. I forgot about milk thistle. Well, I don't have any. I have dandelion root. So that's just going to have to do. I'm wondering if I can mix my dandelion root with my kratom and kind of kill two birds with one stone. All right, so I've been keeping up on my dishes. Man, that week where I had a pile of dishes, that sucked. Dishes stacked up on both sides of my sink. My counter filled up. I was able to vacuum yesterday and to sweep up. I wanted to mop up. Maybe I can mop today. Or maybe I can dust today. I don't really know. Dusting can be an all-day job, though. I'd like to get my car fixed so I can get a haircut. I'd like to get my hair cut. By the time I get my hair cut, it's going to be a year since the last time I got it cut. It hurts. You ever notice that it hurts to get your hair cut? A cheap thrill from your hair blowing around in the wind. You want to go outside and see if it happens? Here, let me get on the jacket. You want a cheap thrill? Let's see. It's long now. My fingers are wet. Ow. Ow. Hang on a second. My fingers are wet. So they're not like sliding through my hair. They're sticking. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that could go crazy. That could be bad. There was this one time when I had my hair long before Seva ever ate it off. I went on the back of a motorcycle. And my friend was like, oh, just real quick, we'll run down the street. You don't need a helmet. Da, 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 da. Oh, shit. Yes, I do. But more than that, my hair, I think we were out in Pennsylvania. We were somewhere. I don't know. We were somewhere where it was legal to not have a helmet. But anyway, my long hair, oh my God. By the time I got home, it was 2 feet of knots. Oh man, I kid you not. I sat there for 2 hours crying. And I'm like, I'm going to get these knots out. I'm going to take it inch by inch if I have to. I'm going to get these knots out. My 2 feet of knots. I sat there for 2 hours and I did eventually. I remember once I got up to here and I had like, there's just knots here. And I'm like, okay, I got all this out. If I got all that out, I should be able to get this out. Because I mean, I was looking at, I was looking at losing all my hair. I was distraught. So I don't know about going out in this wind. But yeah, no, I learned the hard way that like riding a motorcycle or anything like that, no, like I will have my hair like tied here and then like tied down here too. So like it doesn't, usually I would just take my hair and braid it and then tuck the braid into my jacket. So that way my hair never got bad. I should never be on the back of somebody else's bike anyway. I got my own motorcycle license. Do I ride? Yeah, I have my motorcycle license, but I haven't sat on a motorcycle in a long time. I haven't ridden one in a long time. So long, I probably forget how to ride. But yeah, I wanted to get my boating license, but I didn't get that. I was going to get my pilot license because I was going to be a pilot for hot air balloons. Oh, but that wasn't the only one. When I was 22, I met an EMT and he's like, I'm also a pilot. He's like, I'll give you lessons. And he's like, I'll give you like $200 less each lesson. I'll give you a discount. And I was going to go, but my boyfriend at the time didn't like the idea of this guy being the instructor. And it's like, I'm after my pilot license and this guy is going to take like, instead of charging me $1,000, he's going to charge me $800 every time. Like, and he's going to let me use his plane. Come on, man. His name was John. That was the boyfriend's name. That dude also like prevented me from seeing a blimp. That guy like got the best years off my life, but he also stole a lot of great opportunities that I had in my life. And I remember this one girl going, oh, but he's so much younger than you, Holly. You don't want to steal his future. I was like, steal his future? Who gives a shit about that? What about mine? Mine's right now. You know all the awesome things I get to do, but because nobody likes him, I can't do those awesome things because since I'm dating him, I naturally want to bring him with me. But if I want to do those awesome things, I cannot bring him with me because nobody likes him. It's not my fault. He doesn't talk. He doesn't say anything. He just stands there. And it's like, all right. Boy, are you different when we get home. Oh. But isn't that always the way? Different when we get home. It was like that with my ex-husband. He was one way, but then the second we stepped off the plane from Vegas from having gotten married, it was different. I hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be married to a weak, finite dude that was not smart and not intelligent. Same with the dude that collapsed my lung. I didn't want to be with somebody who's not smart and not intelligent, who just basically parrots. Okay, what he hears somebody else say, if he thinks it sounds good, then he steals what somebody else says and then just parrots it back. Like he's not original. And I don't have time for that. I've been through way too much stuff through the government and military to wind up with a dude like that, or even like the musician dude. Really, when I look at it, I don't know why I was hurt in the first place over those things. Get that out of here. Abba, please engage these people directly for trying to spy on me. And I don't get why they're doing that. I'm right here. Abba, I send you after those people who sent that thing after me right now. And Yahusha's name, Selah. Sending that stuff after me. I get sick of it. All right, I better go. I'm just kind of putzing around. You guys are also keeping me honest right now. Well, not honest. I want to make the best possible choices for my day. You know, I don't want to wind up somewhere doing something that I don't want to do. No. I want to see a doctor about my panic and anxiety. I do not want to land in a liquor store. And no, I'm not drinking. And no, I have not been drinking. I am saying, though, that I'm at that breaking point. I'm being good, but I really need to just... Is that who I think it is? Yeah, okay. I thought so. The walls are thin around here. I got two things around here. Detox tea. I got to drink 2 cups, though. Strongest against you when you first become saved. Yeah, I think you're right, Facts. I'm like that, Facts, too. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm not perfect. And I know that, you know, Abba holds me to a higher expectation and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't want to work. Because, like, actually, in the end, from that, like, I don't get drunk. But it doesn't make me feel good. I mean, the most I have is like 2 pints of ale. That's in a night. Has at least one more issue than I do, right? At least. No, I got my work cut out for me. And it's kind of hard because sometimes, like, I think it was a week or 2 ago, I had gotten a pint of beer, and at first it relaxed my stomach muscles. I actually ate 2 dinners. I felt good, but then There were a couple of days where the panic and anxiety, I suffered an episode of shell shock. And then there just came, I think I had the shell shock. And then the following week, boom, I just crashed and burned. It was only a few days, like 2 or 3 days where I bought 2 pints of Red's Apple Ale. But that's not the way to work out anxiety. And I don't want to end up there again. Oh, yeah, it is a double-edged sword. It's great for numbing purposes, I'll be honest. Anytime I fell into a pint of Red's Apple Ale, I was numbing something. Intentionally, probably. I can't read what you wrote. I'm sorry. Hoi shot namazi. Shots of luck throughout the day. I want to stop bad, but yeah, PTSD and acute anxiety can make you spiral with no help through meds. I'm like that. I was like that, facts. I remember. I'm not like that now. I'm like hanging on right now, but I do want to see a doctor because I don't want to have to be struggling as much as I am right now. But I remember, I think it was like in 2017, 2018, 20. Hey, Joe, you had deja vu? I just had it now. Honestly, 2017, 18, 19. You know what I would get? Facts. You know what I would get like in Maryland? Oh, I was at my lowest at Maryland. The lady's like, do you have a drinking problem? Yeah. No, I don't have any problem with it. You're just driving me to it. But anyway, like what I would get would be those, you know, those little 4-packs of wine. So I'd go pick up one of those. I'd suck 2 of them back real quick. When I walked in the house, I would have 2 more throughout the day. And if I chose, I could have a 4-pack at night or not. But yeah, that's how I handled my anxiety and panic. Back when I lived with the dude that collapsed my lung, the religious fanatics in Maryland, I was a mess. I'll tell you, I was a mess in Tennessee. I remember telling the religious plastic couple, you're pulling a Max Spears on me. You took me away from everyone and everything I know that I was born and raised around, and you brought me way out here. You're trying to kill me. But that religious plastic couple that took me out of New Jersey brought me to Tennessee. Then they brought me to their house. I'll tell you, Abba was giving me dreams about them. And in the dreams, Abba had her and her husband running around in butcher suits with knives trying to kill me. And I remember just trying to escape their house and being stuck there. And I remember being on the phone, trying to quietly tell my friends on the phone, like, get me out, get me out. Like, I didn't want to be here in the first place. Like, and the only way to get rid of those people was to set up boundaries and tell the wife to stop touching me. And that's all it took. And she got offended. I would not apologize for putting up boundaries. So I left their house, and praise be to Yahuwah, they did not follow me back to New Jersey. I did not want these people knowing where I live or coming with me or having any part of my future. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Giant rock inside. Yeah, so I don't do that anymore. Being in Maryland in 2019, that was horrible. Having to be around the dude that collapsed my lung, I was miserable with that guy. Like I said, I was praying every morning for Abba to get me away from him. I didn't want to be with him. Within the first 5 business days of him and his kid moving in with me into Long Valley, I knew it was a mistake, but I couldn't tell him to go back where he came from because his mommy evicted him. Right there was a red flag. And all of his boys from Newark and Jersey City, none of his boys would take him in. He liked what I had. He did not like me. No, he loved what I had. He did not love me. GBR. Goes right to your head. Yeah, facts. Hey, Victory, it's great to see you, sweetheart. Yeah, it would be good to have a matinee day. No, I've never done rehab. I don't need rehab. Anything I wanted to quit, I just made the decision not to do it and then stuck with the decision. I got a hobby. Like I got martial arts, or I got a new set of friends, or I replaced it with something. I just quit on rehab for what? Listen to them harp all day long. That's it. Listening to them harp on, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that. That's enough to drive me to do it. No, I just went out, got a hobby, stayed away from it. I quit 33 prescriptions by myself with just my faith. I had a little help from medicinal cannabis, but it was my faith that led me to that. But no, I don't need that crap. For what? Just decide to quit and quit. I mean, I quit. When it came to ketamine, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. And that was it. Took me about a month to get used to being done, but I made the decision. I stuck with it, and that's it. Like when I fired my 8 doctors, quit 33 prescriptions, I just decided to do it and stuck with it. I don't understand rehab. No, I've already been locked up enough. There's no reason to lock me up again. I don't need people to tell me how to quit something. I'm a great quitter. I know how to drop something, walk away, and not look back. This is the next thing, my nicotine. Yeah, I've gone to counselors and therapists. Like I went to Easter Seals for 4 years where they talked about, well, I guess I have, well, no, it's not rehab. Easter Seals. They had counseling, drug addiction, and mental issues. And I went to that for 4 years because I knew there was going to come a day that I was going to quit my pills. So for 4 years, I got myself mentally ready because I knew the day would come. I wanted the day to come right then and there, but I wasn't strong enough to do it. Anyway, so for 4 years, I went to that counseling, and I was somebody's sponsor because I had taken so much. I went to this counseling for 4 years. After 2 of the years, I could have been somebody's sponsor, like just after 2 years of the counseling. But I went 4 years, but I was somebody's sponsor and stuff like that. But anyway, I wound up quitting the pills myself. It was fun firing my doctors. I got a kick out of that. Yeah, I don't like, there were times where I had to go to a mental ward for a week. That was hard enough, but that was different. When I woke up from MK Ultra, I was not sleeping or eating. They had me on a liquid lobotomy for 3 days, and when I finally came out of it, the first thing I wanted to do was get back eating and sleeping regularly, stay away from their meds. I just needed help. But to leave me in there any longer would have been prison time for me. I didn't need it. I was out in 6 days. But waking up from MK Ultra and satanic ritual abuse and 169 altars, that's no cup of tea. That's no cakewalk. And these people online like Safi who treat it like a cakewalk. Oh, well, I've got the slow drip. No, you don't. You were never trafficked to begin with. You say you just woke up, You never went to a mental ward. You never lost your ability to speak or write or think. You're full of crap. You're not MK Ultra. I can tell. Because everybody that I know that was MK Ultra, they went through a hell of a time. They were in pieces for almost a full year. Like I was in pieces. So don't tell me, oh, I have this slow drip of memories and get out of here. Any medicines, really? Thank you very much. Yeah, facts. My doctors hated me. They hated me. I said to my pain doctor, I was like, yo, you prescribe medicinal cannabis. Why don't you give it to me? I want to come off these medicines. That worked for detox. No, I know, give it to you. Fired. You know, Donald Trump, he had that series, You're Fired. Yeah, guess what? You're fired. My doctors were pissed. All of them were pissed. I was no longer going to be seeing them once a month, every month. I was done. Yeah, who cured and healed me? I don't need those doctors or anything. I just need them to get out their prescription pad and sit. That's all I need them to do. Yeah, it's been 11 years now. 11 years I've been off all those pills and away from all those doctors. Like, that's awesome. There's been like acute times where I've had to use medications, but ever gang stalked. By demons, yes. By people. Last year there was a gas pumper that followed me home, followed me to Walmart, followed me around town, would sit outside my house. He did that for 3 months. I have physical pictures, but there was something wrong with him. He didn't meet me online. He literally pumped my gas and then took it upon himself to stalk me. But by the government or somebody like that, no. There were only 2 times that I can remember being under direct death threat and ever being stalked. The one time was 2 weeks before Max Spears was murdered. And then again in December 2014 when I first woke up from MK Ultra. Otherwise, no, I've not been. Like the government, FBI, stuff like that, they've left me alone. Except for in December, they were bothering me. And then the 2 weeks before Max Spears was murdered, I was followed by 2 guys. But other than that, no. And I also try to keep my nose clean, so I don't give anybody a reason. I'm not trying to give anybody a reason. But I don't, like, none of us have the information they want anyway. Oh. Random? No. No. When my neighbors are calling me to tell me, hey, Ollie, there's a guy sitting outside your house, that's not random. And I knew the guy, too, because he pumped my gas at Citgo. I wasn't the only female that had a problem with this guy. And as far as the blue car with 2 guys in it following me 2 weeks before Max Spears was murdered, no, that wasn't random. Because there's another person that contacted me about that, and it wasn't random. But once he was murdered, I wasn't followed anymore. Man, if I had talked to Max Spears, I would have been like, buddy, I would have seen it coming. I would have been like, buddy, you need to like keep me on the phone and go directly to an airport and leave. I don't care if you got clothes, pictures, valuables, jewelry, money, who cares? You need to go directly to the airport and go home to your mom's. So, and there was a bunch of times I was ready to write him. I wish I did because we probably would have spoke. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's factions of the government that wanted me awake, and then there were other factions of the government that did not want me awake. But these MK Ultra projects stemming from Operation Paperclip needed to be exposed. Yeah, man, I miss him. Rest in peace, Max. Rest in peace, Max Spears. His assassination is why I came forward to the public to begin with. I thought to myself, you can't do that to a super soldier. You can't kill us. How dare you? I think there's other super soldiers that are on the scene looking for popularity. And I'm not into stuff like that. Yeah. Back in the day, YouTube used to be really good. Now it sucks. But Max Spears had a ton of stuff up. I found his stuff really helpful waking up. But everything he talked about was exactly where I did not want to put my faith. I didn't want to put my faith in any of that stuff. I wanted to get away from all that esoteric crap. Like, I wanted the truth. And Yahusha gave me that. Then you got Max Spears' ex-girlfriend who's got ISIS whore tattooed on her arm, giving her allegiance to that thing. The majority of people don't make it out of these MK Ultra projects. They just don't make it out. And if they do make it out, they're either going to wind up in jail like Casbolt or dead like Max, because they're going to want to do something. And then they're going to wind up thinking that they're doing something good, helping, like exposing pedophile rings. But instead, what's going to happen? They're going to get murdered by their programmers. They're going to get murdered by their handlers. And they're not going to be exposing any pedophile ring. The majority of people just don't make it out of MK Ultra projects. And as far as who they're going to use going forward, those people are not awake. And I'm going to tell you, Allie and Shelley and Safi and those people, they're not programmed individuals. They are mentally ill posing as SRA, DID, MK Ultra, and Super Soldier. She used to be a beautiful girl. I don't know what she did to herself with Botox, but I no longer think that she's a beautiful girl. Yeah, she's from the Dumbs. I got nothing to do with her and her friends. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't. I did not steal my testimony from her, and you can tell damn well I didn't steal my testimony from her when you read my book. She grew up somewhere else with other people. So what if we bumped into each other in the Dumbs? Not all of us got along when we were in the Dumbs. Some of us did, and others of us didn't. I'm not into the quackery that she's into with her selling these readings and stuff like that. You get one girl selling readings, spiritual advisement readings for $100 an hour. You get another girl saying, oh, well, over the phone, $333, but in person, you can pay me $555. And meanwhile, all they're doing is talking to demons, giving you out misinformation. They're not leading you back to Yahusha. They're not leading you back to anything true or real or honest. They're leading you back to all these different gods and goddesses, to these different deities. And then they're taking your money for it. And for what? So you can go sit with them in hell for eternity? The last place I want to be is with Max Spears' ex-girlfriend and her buddies. No, thank you. Uh-uh. It's essential oils. She can't even say that word. It's terrible. But yeah, she used to be a pretty girl until she did all this Botox crap. And once she takes all that Botox out of her lips, guaranteed her lips are going to look like a guy's ball sack. Yeah, because all the skin around her lips is all stretched out. Like, it's bad enough I have wrinkles. So I was a smoker. I really got to pluck my mustache. Stop looking at my mustache and the hairy eyebrows. Okay, I know I need maintenance. But when that Botox comes out, she's going to have all this extra skin around her lips. I really think she ruined herself. And I'm not trying to be mean. There's a lot of other things I could say about her, but I'm refraining. This is one of the few and only times I'm refraining and I'm being nice. I still got the emails that she sent me where she tried to trigger me to get me to commit suicide. Then after Russ Dizdar died, she sent me an email saying that I was going to join him. She sent me emails with her nude photos attached with her phone number. Stupid crap. It's like, girl, if anybody needs a publicist, if anybody needs a defense attorney, it's you. You are doing some dumbass shit. When you send somebody naked photos of yourself and they didn't ask you for them, that's rape. You go to jail for that. You know what, Joe? It didn't last long. This is not going to be one of the few times I'm nice. I'm going to be relentless. Her and her pagan and witch friends, they were relentless with me. Yeah. You know what? My Yahoo is bigger than their gods. So them sending all this crap out at me, I send Yahuwah back at them, and may he bring his wrath with them. In Yahusha's name, Selah. I don't know what the big interest is with people trying to get their hands on my programmers and handlers. It's the same as you guys had. You know who the ones were at Montauk. You know who all the other ones were. I don't have to say their name, and I'm not going to. Actually, I gave you two names, Joseph Mangley and Douglas Riggs. All the others, I'm not naming them. Oh, and I don't have a boyfriend that you can attack to try to set up any devices in the astral realm against him to try to use him to get at me. Nope. There's no open doors or open windows in my life. Rumbles covered under the blood of the Lamb. Don't be thinking that you're going to send somebody else in my life. I'm going to go, oh, I'll date them, and then you can use that person to get at me. Don't think you can send some religious plastic fanatics in my life, and I'm going to go, oh, I'm alone, so I'll just go listen to this old lady. No. I don't need any new best friends. I'm not looking for any cases to come across my desk. I'm not interested in anybody's opinion or advice. I don't know what it is lately, but people have been popping out of the woodwork, and it's very interesting. Why? Why do you want to know my handlers? They know who they are. We don't need you to help us out. Go worry about your own crap. And then, like, people, I swear, Holly, I want to live in God's ways. Yeah? Then shut up about it and just do it. What, you need an audience, a camera crew to give you a claim? Very good. You're following in his ways. You said your prayers. You really meant your repentance to him. Yay. Wow. I'm not going to hold your hand for that crap. I'm not the person to do that anyway. Like when I deprogrammed, it was just give me the material, go away. I'll do it myself. I got Yahuwah. I got my golden bow for a long time. We're chaotic now. I feel very much he's on my side. Good. Good. I pray everything goes well for you, Facts. I pray he stays on your side. It's hard. But see, I don't see any reason to fight for a relationship with a guy that's just not smart, not intelligent, does not keep up with their education. They're a carpenter, but they laugh and think it's funny when they put a building in crooked into somebody's house. I don't want to be with a guy like that. I don't want my name next to a guy like that. Thank you, Facts. I send you and him my barakas. So I'm happy in my life. I live on my own. I mean, I got my group of friends, my extended family members that I talk to. I got my broadcasts, and I'm happy. Those people in Maryland, they were not covered under the blood of the Lamb. I don't care how much they want to say until they're blue in the face that they're believers. They got the fake Jesus. They got their false doctrine like the rapture. I don't have them trying to manipulate me and dictate my life. Oh, Holly, I can't believe you put that post up. Oh, don't call them out. You'll cause division. Good. There should be division because light has nothing to do with darkness. Light always exposes the darkness. The darkness will never comprehend the light, and light has no business with darkness. So let there be a divide. Let it happen. It needs to happen. When he returns, he's not coming to bring peace. He's coming to bring division. So let's get started now. We'll see who's his. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like people are coming out of the woodwork trying to say that they're his and they're trying to do right and live right. But no, they're not. And you can tell they're not. It's the same old crap all the time. They don't change. They just try to sugarcoat it. They think, oh, well, enough time has passed. Yeah, but you're still the same person. Listen, if you look at me now versus 2 years ago versus 4 years ago versus 6 years ago, you're going to see a lot of change. I'm not the same. I've healed. I've grown. I've learned. I've cured. I'm on to new stuff. And some of these people are just stuck in the past. They're always going to be stuck in that past because they love their demons more than they want the truth. They want their ways. They don't want Yahusha's ways. They want you to believe that they're living the right way. So now they can manipulate you because they're not going to be happy until they manipulate you. Manipulating you brings them joy. Misery loves company. I don't want those kind of friendships. And like these people trying to say that they're believers. No, you're not. You're a Christian. Yeah, you're a Christian. All right. You said it all right there. The second you tell me you're Christian, oh, I'm Lutheran, Baptist, Protestant, Catholic, Christian, Seventh-day Adventist, Mormon. What else you guys got? Assembly of God? Yeah, right there, you said it all. Because to be that Christian, you have to renounce your Savior, Yahusha. So spare it, okay? Spare it. You don't even know about your own religion. Don't tell me you're a believer when you don't know anything about your own religion. That's a bunch of hooey-fooey, especially when you got a cell phone. You got the internet at your fingertips, and you can speak into Google and ask Google all sorts of questions. Where in the Bible can I find this? Where in the Bible can I find that? Loved my past self. Now I can't make a genuine friend to save my life, right? Facts? Traditionalist religion is much different than a spiritual believer. Traditionalist, yeah. Like the way I say, I guess we're saying the same thing, but yeah, I'm anti-religion and anti-religious. I have a relationship with my maker and savior. I have an intimate, active relationship. I have a walk with him. I follow him. I follow his ways. These other people, oh, well, at my church and how I believe. And it's like, yeah, again, you're not putting the Bible into practice. You're not submitting to his ways. You're doing it your way. You're doing it the church's way. That's not him. He keeps warning us about that and being like that. But yeah, I don't have anything in common with the traditionalists. Yeah, it's the same thing. I don't have anything in common with them. And then the people trying to make you believe that they're living righteous. It's like, listen, whether you're living righteous or not, I really don't care what you're doing. It just seems like people come out of the woodwork and they're saying that they're living righteous, but they're still jerking around. And I can't play stupid anymore. Just this morning, I'm standing outside and there's this big furry creature peeking around the house at me because somebody sent it. Like, has any path with Abba, drugs and alcohol doesn't make someone a bad person. It can be used by God to bring them to him in one way or another. What he made me have a worse and worse experience every time I used before I had to call out to him. Yeah, everybody has a different walk. Everybody has a different path to healing. Like, so long as Yahuwah's our doctor and Yahusha's our prescription and he's guiding us, that's all that matters. Like, there's people that say, oh, Holly, I would like to see you off your medicinal cannabis. No, you'll be cured and healed when you're off your medicinal cannabis. What, by your standards? Because that's what you want? You're not relying on him. This is my curing and healing. Why is my miracle from him not good enough for you? And what business is it of yours to begin with? Because you don't like marijuana, but you're not sick. You're not fully disabled. You've never been in a cage. You've never been in the situations I've been. You don't have the health I've had. And you want to sit there on your high and mighty horse? Listen, wherever I go, I'm going to have my albuterol asthma medicine on me, period. That doesn't mean that I'm not Yahuwah's people. Listen, it's in his will that nobody perish. It is not in his will that everybody's fully cured and healed, walking around perfect and pristine. And the majority of everybody is not perfect and pristine. The majority of everybody is broken and run down. Even the nowadays so-called Christian and believer. Well, the Christian, you got to look up Constantine's creed. And once you see what Christianity is all about, you're going to renounce Christianity really fast. That's what I did. Because to be a Christian, you have to renounce your Savior, Yahusha. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, yeah, it's true. We've been taught nothing but lies. We're thinking Christian is a good thing when no, it's not. No, it's not. We were called followers of Yahusha. The apostles. Weren't you with that guy, Yahusha? Weren't you following him around? I'm a follower of Yahusha. I'm not a Nazarene. I'm not a Christian. I'm a follower of Yahusha. I met him. He's got his ways and commandments, and I follow that. But just because I need medicine does not mean that I'm less of a person. It does not mean that he gave me a miracle. The way I see it right now, where I stand, yeah, he's healed and cured me. Are you kidding? I'm not in a cage in the dumps. I'm not being trafficked. I'm not being triggered and sent out on assignments. I'm not on 33 prescriptions. I'm not visiting 8 doctors a month every single month. Like, this is my miracle. I'm happy with it. Yeah, but Holly, I just think, yeah, good. I never asked you. And I never asked you on purpose what you think or what you want or any of that. There's always 2 voices that are being sent out in the world at all times. We got Yahusha, who died for us, resurrected, ascended to heaven, and is returning soon. And then we have Malak sending out a version of Yahusha. Even Shiva has a million different faces. What version of Yahuwah would you like? I'm sure she's got a version of the fake Jesus. Who do you want? Who do you want your God to be? Shiva can give it to you. With a million different faces, she's got at least one for you. My God has one face, one name. He's one man, one God. That's it. And he made it very easy. All right. On that note, I'm going to let you guys go. Well, I stopped drinking. Yeah, me too. I was never a drinker to begin with, but I do stay away from drinking as best I can. Cigarettes, but I quit my prescriptions and all those doctors 11 years ago now. I have nothing to do with illegal drugs. I don't even have those friends in my life anymore. So there's no way I could even get my hands on anything illegal. And right now, cannabis, I use it medicinally. I would like to get my license renewed just to have it renewed, but I don't have $200 to waste just to give it to the state so I can have a shiny little card that says I can smoke it. I don't need that. I just need my medicine. Thank you very much. But my medicinal cannabis stands between me and a bunch of bad stuff. And it was Heavenly Abba that said to me, Holly, I created the marijuana plant. Go use it. It's seed bearing. You use this, you can come off all that. You go use this, you can quit all that. And I did. And I have a much better way of life. It was nice to talk to you, Fax. And I give you my blessings and love. I hope you and your loved ones and fur babies too are good. And I hope you have a safe trip to the store. I'm probably going to get going because I got to figure out what to do with my day. I think I got a few people to call back. So that might take a little bit. But thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad I came across you too, Fax. Thank you for talking to me. I'm definitely not perfect. I know, I love my Heavenly Abba and I'm an ordained minister, but I'm not perfect. I got my struggles, but it's not about being perfect. It's just about seeking Him and, loving Him, worshiping Him, and taking care of each other, I think. So, but, I'm fully disabled. I'm not a healthy person. I'm going to need medical assistance. I'm just glad I'm not on pain management pills anymore. I'm glad I'm not on all that stuff. But I'll tell you what, you take my medicinal cannabis away from me, you're going to have to give me back my Dilaudid, Percocet, Valium, Xanax, Ambien, Belladonna, all of it, Levcinex, all of it. Yeah, I'll just stick with the medicinal cannabis. It's a lot better. It's not a long, cold, dark road to be on cannabis. And I still the cannabis juggles all my medical needs. So for now, for my daily medical needs with my pain issues and stuff like that. And it definitely helps me to eat. And that's the one thing I definitely need help with. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Thanks, Joe. I'll get back to your email too.